Hey, how you doing? This is RJ. I just wanted to put out this short video, hopefully it's going to be a short video, about what's going on this week with Marvel and their announcements that both Iceman and the Unstoppable Wasp are being put back on the shelves with the same creative team for writers. Now, both of these books were canceled for incredibly low sales. They just did not sell. And why would they put back on the shelf two titles that didn't sell with the same writers in them? And not only that, but they're also putting back into shelves what they had announced, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, that the West Coast Avengers is coming back, but with America Chavez, the new Hawkeye, and the lame Hawkeye, and who else? Gwenpool. All characters from books that have been canceled that didn't sell. Now, you might be able to make an argument that, West Coast Avengers, maybe that's a good idea. They're trying to put them all together, so maybe they can be better in a team since they didn't sell in their own books. But there really can't be any kind of argument made for why they would put Iceman and the Unstoppable Wasp back on the shelf when they have been canceled for incredibly low sales. At the very least, not putting them back on the shelves with the same writers on both books when they didn't sell to begin with. So most people see this as a political move for Marvel. But I think there's something else going on here. I don't think it's political, not political certainly as in its origin. I think it's more strategic. And I don't think it has so much to do with Marvel. I think it has to do with Disney, who owns Marvel. It's a very strategic move on the part of Disney. That's what it looks like to me, and it seems to work out when you think about it. So my thoughts on this subject would be that Disney doesn't make money from the comics. They don't. If you look at the numbers, you can see that for the entire comic book industry, I'm not just talking Marvel, I'm talking all comic book industry, including everyone. The entire comic book industry does not make as much money per year as one good Marvel movie makes. Again, to say that again, all the comic book industry per year doesn't make as much as one good Marvel movie makes. So certainly Marvel doesn't make anywhere near as much as a Marvel movie would make. It doesn't make per year anywhere even close to what one Marvel movie would make. And I think that's the point, because the movies, the superheroes and the movies for Disney make Disney a lot of money. But the comic books don't make them much of any money at all. And so the comic books are being used strategically by Disney, because these two books, The Unstoppable Wasp and Iceman, are being touted as coming back by popular demand, because we asked for it. But you can clearly see from the numbers posted, not for sales, but just for shipping, that nobody wants this. But let's assume, my assumption is, okay, that they're actually telling the truth. I know that's a large assumption, but let's assume that they're actually telling the truth on this, that somebody is demanding it. Okay, that's an assumption we can make. But if someone is demanding it, it's not the customers. We know by the shipping numbers that it's not the customers. They were shipping at incredibly low numbers. But we'll say someone is demanding it. Well, who would be demanding it? Well, of course, SJWs would be demanding it. They don't buy the comics, but they are demanding it. And that's not hard to fathom, because that's part of the nature of an SJW, part of the nature of a leftist, of a socialist or a communist. You want to look through their philosophy, maybe I'll go through it one of these days, but if you go through their philosophy, part of their nature, it's in their DNA, it's in their philosophy to complain. It's in their philosophy to complain and to destroy. Their philosophy to complain is part of their philosophy to destroy. They seek to destroy things. They seek to destroy what is here so that they can build their new utopia through their politics. So they have to destroy what's here first. There's no compromise to that. They have to destroy what's here first, and they do that through complaining. And they're very good at it. They move from one thing to another, and they complain, and there's never any satisfying them. They just complain until something is destroyed. They hammer away at it until something is destroyed. It's part of their philosophy. That's what they do. And so they're hammering away at Disney with their SJW nonsense, saying we need diversity, we need inclusion, we need all of these things. Give it to us, give it to us. So someone is demanding these titles. Is just not the customers. So what does Marvel do? Well, what does Disney do? Disney is being smart about it. It's being tactical. It's saying, okay, our cash cow is the movies. This is where we make money from. Marvel Comics make us nothing. Therefore, our sacrificial lamb is going to be Marvel Comics. Okay? It's not them bending the knee. It's them being smart and being strategic. It's them placating these SJW idiots and their nonsense. It's basically Disney patting them on the head so that they don't throw a tantrum and start destroying things. And, it's what you do to any 2-year-old. If you want them to be satisfied so they don't destroy the good things, then you give them something beaten up and ratty and let them destroy that if they absolutely need to destroy something. And that's what Disney is doing. It's giving them the comic book industry, Marvel's comic book industry, so that they can destroy that. So that these SJWs don't come after the movies. Because Disney can say, oh, look, yes, we understand that we're not doing it in the movies. They'll never actually say that. They'll just say, look, we got into the entire industry. Our entire source material industry is working on diversity, is working on inclusion, is working on all of these things which you SJWs are asking for. Look, we have this entire base industry. It's working on it. But it's just to placate them. It's just to stop them from throwing a tantrum. And the comic industry, Marvel's comic industry, is just a sacrificial lamb to them to keep them off their backs of their real moneymaker. Because Marvel Comics, it doesn't make any sense to keep Marvel Comics going right now. There is pros that used to work for Disney Comics, and they've come out and said, now that they don't work for Disney Comics anymore, they don't understand why in the world Disney would keep Marvel Comics going. It's a dumpster fire. They have gone out and said in public that there's no reason. It doesn't fit Disney's business model to keep Marvel running. They don't understand why. They should just shut it down, and they think they're just going to shut it down soon because it's such a dumpster fire. But the reason I would say why they're keeping it open is because it's their sacrificial lamb for these SJWs. It's their beaten up old ratty thing that they're given to these 2-year-olds so that they can destroy that. And if you think about it that way, it makes complete sense to put these books back out. It makes complete sense to put them back out with the same authors and just leave them be there because, of course, they're not going to sell. They know they're not going to sell. That's kind of the point. The point is for them not to sell because they don't want these stories, these SJW written stories, to go into the hands of anybody anyways. They don't want these stories tainting their brand for the movies. So the best way to do that is to make sure these stories don't get into the hands of anybody. And it's very simple. Put a SJW writer who messes up the story and can't actually write a good story to begin with on a title that nobody reads, so they can say, hey, look, we have this entire line that we're dealing with inclusivity and diversity, and we're shoving it out there. And the fact that nobody reads it is just a bonus for them. It's just a strategic thing for them to make sure nobody reads it, because they will placate the SJWs. They will keep them off their backs. And these comics and these stories will never really see the light of day. They'll be published, but nobody will read them. And therefore, it will not taint their customer base. Nobody is going to, in the future, go, oh, well, I thought Miles Morales was Spider-Man. Where is he on the screen? No one's going to say, where's Jane Foster in the movies? No one's going to say, where's the unstoppable Wasp in the movies? Or these other things. Now, they might put these in the movies later on because they would actually shove some good character development into these characters in the movies, but nobody's going to be looking for what's going to happen in this Iceman #1 in any future X-Men movies. No one's not like we comic fans we're very excited to see Days of Future Past come into the X-Men movies. Everybody knew that story that read comic books. It was ingrained in me. When I went to see it, it was kind of a dream come true to see this story that I had known so well for so many years. No one's ever going to say that about these SJW comics. And that's the point. They don't want anybody saying that about these SJW comics. They just are using them. Marvel is using them to get rid of the nonsense that they have to do in order to keep their cash cow safe. It's just virtue signaling on their part. Virtue signaling with part of their company that it makes no sense to keep open and makes no money for them, so they don't even care if it gets destroyed. They certainly don't care if it gets beat up, and they don't even care if it gets destroyed. It's their virtue signaling machine to keep these people off their back. And that's why these two titles are coming back by popular demand. Because it's not being demanded by us, the actual customers. It's being demanded by these SJWs and their nonsense and their articles that are coming out in newspapers and magazines and online and everything else. And that's why this is happening. It's very strategic on the part, I would say, of Disney, and it's actually very smart. But it takes Marvel and it shoves it into the dirt for us, the actual Marvel fans of Marvel characters. And that's not helping us one bit. Anyways, I just wanted to put out this short video because I think that most people who are talking about this, they get it a little bit, but they don't get it fully. I think that that's what it is. It's just a strategic plan on the part of Disney to sacrifice Marvel Comics to the SJWs so that the SJWs can't go and destroy their cash cow of the movies. All right, so that's all I have to say for today. Hopefully I brought up some new ideas. If I did, hit like, hit subscribe, share the link. That's why I'm here, to share ideas. Hopefully you can share this video with someone else, get them to watch it, get them to think about something new, and hopefully make our comic book industry better, or at the very least understand the situation so that we can make it better. All right then, I'll see you later. Bye.